All right. So, protests. Even more. Yes. Because, one officer indicted in Breonna Taylor case, not for her death. So, I don't know if anybody has been following this around where I am, but Breonna Taylor was an EMT that was with her boyfriend in her apartment. There was supposedly, and that's a lie, a no-knock raid. It was, the police announced themselves, from what I understand, repeatedly, and then they broke the door down because nobody was answering. Now, from the perspective of the, sadly, he passed away, I believe, but maybe her husband didn't pass away anyway, but there was a firefight. Basically, the police broke in. The boyfriend of Breonna Taylor shot one of the officers coming in, saying, like, I didn't know who was coming in, even if they announced themselves. They return fire, one bullet strikes her, and Breonna dies. Huge protest because none of the three police officers were indicted on the murder of Breonna Taylor. One of them was only indicted, I believe, for... We'll read it, but I believe it's for a reckless endangerment because he shot into the apartment and he could have shot through the wall to another apartment, so it's reckless endangerment. Anyway, let's read a little bit of this. So, Louisville, Kentucky. A Kentucky grand jury on Wednesday indicted a single former police officer. He's been fired. Ooh, my bad. For shooting into neighboring apartments, but did not move forward with charges against any officers for their role in Breonna Taylor's death. The jury announced that fired officer Brett Hankison was charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment in connection to the police raid of Taylor's home on the night of March 13th. I believe the 3 counts is because he shot 3 times, but don't take that for granted. Immediately after the announcement, people were expressing frustration that the grand jury did not do more. Justice has not been served, tweeted Linda Sarsour, freaking Linda Sarsour, of Until Freedom, a group that has pushed for charges in the case. Rise up, all across this country, everywhere. Rise up for hashtag Breonna Taylor. Well, they did. So, at the news conference, State Attorney General Daniel Cameron said Hankson and 2 other officers who entered Taylor's apartment announced themselves before entering the apartment and did not use a no-knock warrant. So there's a lot of people in the protests, and one woman had a sign saying she was sleeping in her own bed, or she was in her own bed. I think that was the sign, and it's false. She was not in her bed. She was in front of the door with her boyfriend. According to Kentucky law, the use of force was justified to protect themselves. They were shot at first. The guy shot them first. The justification bars us from pursuing criminal charges in her case. So, Taylor, an emergency medical worker, who was shot multiple times by officers who entered her home using a no-knock warrant during a narcotics investigation. Well, they didn't use a no-knock warrant. they announced themselves. The guy just said so. What the heck? What is this? Oregon Live? Come on, man. Cameron's office had been receiving materials from the Louisville Police Department's Public Integrity Unit while they tried to determine whether state charges would be brought against the 3 officers. The officer was fired before the charges were brought. On September 15, the city settled a lawsuit against the 3 officers brought by Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, agreeing to pay her $12 million and enact police reforms. And they still rioted. So, here's some live updates on Breitbart from Amanda House and Rebecca Mansour. So I just got this up just to show you guys all the cities that are affected by this. It is not just Kentucky. What's the city in Kentucky? Louisville. So not just Louisville, but Portland again, Seattle, Washington. Literally the same place that Cal Anderson Park happened. There's under scheduled protests at Cal Anderson Park. Providence, Rhode Island, Fort Wayne, Salt Lake City, Pittsburgh, Boston, Grand Rapids, Nashville, Washington, New York, Philadelphia, St. Paul, Dallas, Austin, Milwaukee, St. Petersburg, Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, Louisville. All rioting. Well, protesting, but yeah, it's rioting. You know, they're basically. Let me find. I know the one in Seattle was violent already. You can literally see. Oh, I gotta be careful not to show the video, but you can. There's literally a guy. Yeah. Throws the Molotov at the cops in Portland. Throws it, and then you hear. I don't know if I can play. I don't want to play it because YouTube might not be very happy with it. But they cheer as it goes up, and you see one officer just bolted out of there. Where is it? Boom. Yeah, that guy is just like, get the fuck out of there. And then they charge it. So look at this. Just Molotovs flying. Okay, so Andy, who's an on-the-ground reporter that I trust, said hundreds of BLM Antifa rioters attacked the Justice Center again in Portland. They used rocks to shatter windows of the police station, set the exterior on fire multiple times, and threw 3 Molotovs at them. Damn. So this is another one of the things that was happening is the police officer were moving, trying to disperse the crowd, and one guy decided to lay on the ground, and the guy passes his bike in like on top of his head. He's not riding the bike, but he does like. That's not cool, man. Don't do that. Come on, man. The other protesters like, the fuck. Yeah, don't ride over people's heads when they're on the ground. You could have just lifted your bike. Like, come on. Don't be an ass. Things are already dire enough as it is. No need to antagonize everything. So let's see what the SPD had to say. In Seattle, the police began monitoring a protest that formed in Cal Anderson Park, 7 p.m. Group started marching. Around 10:45, protesters approached the East Precinct and threw an explosive that went through a roll-up gate and exploded near waiting bike officers. That is dangerous, man. You can lose a limb, or like if you get that on your skin, you have lifelong moisturizing issues. Like your pores are gonna be burned. You're gonna have dry skin all over forever. It's awful. That's why if you're throwing a Molotov, like you're trying to severely injure, there's no other way to see it. It's a Molotov cocktail. Anyway, officers identified the individual who threw the explosives and attempted to arrest the person. As a group of bike officers, of bike officers attempted to make the arrest, they were then assaulted with bottles and rocks. Police deployed pepper spray and blast balls in an attempt to create space between the officers and the protesters. The group of protesters again moved through the streets, setting dumpsters on fire and throwing explosives at officers. In total, 13 individuals were arrested for charges ranging from property destruction, resisting arrest, and failure to disperse, as well as an assault on an officer. Multiple officers were injured, to include one who was struck in the head with a baseball bat, cracking his helmet. And I saw the video. The guy is like, there's a line of police officers biking through, trying to, I don't know, reach a street corner, and one of them gets like punted off his bike. People throw stuff at him as he gets up. One of them tries to steal his bike. He manages to hold on and pepper spray the guy away, and then somebody walks up behind him with a metal bat and just fucking decks him behind the head. Luckily, the guy had a good helmet because he kind of just like got hit and peppered the guy in the face. But man. In addition to this, Seattle Police Department is aware of the video circulating on the internet that apparently shows an SPD bike officer's bike rolling over the head and an individual laying in the street. The matter will be referred to the Office of Police Accountability. Alright. So that's what happened in Seattle. So where was it? Oh yeah, a few minutes later, additional people people cut wires powering security cameras to the precinct. So before, like, well, as the big violence was going, people were trying to cut the cameras to the police station. You don't do that unless you're doing something criminal. If you're not, you want the cameras to be there so people see what you're doing. But if you're committing crimes, you know, you kind of want to cut those. Yeah, Portland protests, 13 arrests. So it's always the same story. There's something bad happens to a black person, and it's justified. The reaction, well, the nonviolent protests are justified. Killing people is wrong. Killing black people is also wrong. So you should like protest police accountability and police use of force, but not burn down shops and attack police. You're using the violence you're against. So, like, it's ridiculous. It's always the same thing. They get people that are, like, leftists and against police violence and stuff like that, which is fine, and then they get them together. And then a few instigators, usually Antifas, but now it's a lot of Black Lives Matter, will come in, and these people are unwell, and somebody's behind the scene definitely handing these people the bombs that they throw. Because I don't think these silly people, silly sausages, are making them themselves. And then they throw them, and then they get arrested. But the instigators that made the bombs and gave them out, they don't get arrested, because they didn't throw the bombs. There was even a U-Haul full of shields that arrived at one of these protests. U-Haul shield protest. There we go. We have a protest breakout. Gear unloaded from U-Haul after no murder charges in the case. Is there a photo? No? It's just like protesters to the street. Yeah. Okay, there it is. A pair of videos shared to social media shows protesters unload shields and signs from a U-Haul truck. It is unclear who rented the truck. One shield read BLM in red, while another had the phrase "Protect Black Women." It's just like, it's so obvious they're organized. Clearly they're organized. Let's look at this. What the heck? They're clearly organized. Somebody went and got all these. There you go. Man. Material coming in for these guys. Despicable, man. Don't arm yourself to go to a protest. Come on. And during this, if you didn't think it was bad enough, oh wait, this is June 29th. Never mind. So officials plead for calm after man charged with shooting 2 Louisville cops during Breonna Taylor protest. So even more than the Molotovs is somebody actually shot 2 cops. Louisville, Kentucky authorities pleaded for calm while activists vowed to fight on Thursday in Kentucky's largest city, where a gunman wounded 2 police officers during anguished protests following the decision not to charge police officers for killing Breonna Taylor. Don't shoot cops. You're not helping your message. Like, Biden's getting huge backlash right now from these riots, and Trump is the one going like, law and order, shut it down, do something about it. And the freaking mayors of these cities don't accept his help. They refuse it, saying like, oh, you're gonna bring peace. Huh? This is your America. You, like, I don't know why they're not. Nobody likes their decisions to not do anything and to give in to these protesters. God. Outrage over the grand jury's failure to bring homicide charges against the officers who burst into Black women's apartment 6 months ago set off a new round of demonstration Wednesday in several American cities. Alright, where's the police officer? Let's see. FBI is still investigating whether Taylor's civil rights were violated. Burden of proof for such cases is very high. Yeah, while prosecutors having to prove officers knew they were acting illegally and made a willful decision to cause someone's death. Man. So, 2 Louisville police officers shot during protests were doing well and will survive their injuries. One of them, Major Aubrey Gregory, officers for more than 20 years, was shot in the hip and was treated and released from the hospital. Officer Robinson DeRoche, who joined the force 18 months ago, was shot in the abdomen and underwent surgery. Lorenzo D. Johnson, 26, was charged in the shooting with assaulting police officers and wanton endangerment of a police officer, I guess. An arrest citation said police had video of Johnson shooting at officers. Court records did not list a lawyer for Johnson, who was scheduled for arraignment Friday. In Washington, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell called the officers' shooting in his home state acts of despicable cowardice that must be met with full force of the law. I agree. Taylor's case has exposed the wide gulf between public opinion on justice for those who kill Black Americans and the laws under which those officers are charged. Like, the people rioting do not represent the majority. The people peacefully protesting do represent the majority. But the people who, like, burn shops down and shoot officers do not represent the majority. This is a bit misleading here. Wednesday, grand jury returned 3 charges of wanton endangerment against fired officer Brett Hankinson. No charges were brought against the other officers. Ben Crump, a lawyer for Taylor's family, denounced the grand jury decision as outrageous and offensive. Like, what are you supposed to do? You knock, you say, "Are you there? We're here to serve warrants. It's the police. Please open up." No answer, no answer, no answer. 5-10 minutes go by, you break the door down, and bang, bang, bang. What are you supposed to do? As soon as he broke the door in, he was first in, and he got shot in the femoral artery, which is a kill shot. It will make you bleed to death very quickly. Oh, man. Anyways, I think this was it for now. I just wanted to make a quick video because I've been getting very discouraged because I'm having trouble uploading every day like I want to. And honestly, the gaming content is easy to make, but it's not very satisfying because it's like, first of all, there's no views. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the views I'm bothered by because I do enjoy playing the games. I think it's the fact that I can't use it to have an impact on the world like gaming or anything. It's just fun for myself, but this is very useful for news, understanding context, what's going on in the world. So I feel more justified making this kind of content. Anyway, we'll see what happens later on tonight, and I'm gonna stream tomorrow, Friday. So catch me on Twitch, 8 p.m. to midnight. And we're going to talk about what's going on in the week and probably more with Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying and the Supreme Court justice that's supposedly going to be announced Saturday. So we're going to see where that goes. It's going to be interesting. It's probably going to be more riots if Trump chooses a state representative. Anyway, I'll let you go. Bye-bye.